Have you ever felt like the world was coming at you? Like every word, every glance, every circumstance was a weapon aimed right at your heart? There is a promise for days like these, a strong and steady anchor for your soul. It comes from the ancient words of the prophet Isaiah. It is true today, on 2025-10-14. The promise is this: no weapon formed against you will prosper. Let those words sink in. They are not a suggestion. They are a declaration from the throne room of heaven. This promise is a shield for your spirit. It doesn't say weapons will not be formed. Oh, they will. This divine promise of protection isn't just an abstract idea. It has a story, a real-life example of how it works. Let me take you back to ancient Jerusalem, to a man named Nehemiah. He was a man with a comfortable job, living far from his homeland. But then he received news that broke his heart. The walls of Jerusalem were nothing but piles of scorched rubble. The gates were burned, and the people who remained lived in shame and constant danger. Their spirits were as broken as the stones around them. The news didn't just make Nehemiah sad, it moved him to his knees. Before he made a single plan, before he asked a single person for help, he prayed. He wept before God, confessing the sins of his people and reminding God of his promises. His heart ached for the city of his ancestors. This deep, personal pain became the fuel for his mission, a holy discontent. Well, with God's favor, Nehemiah traveled to Jerusalem. He saw the devastation with his own eyes. It looked impossible. Where would they even begin? But Nehemiah didn't focus on the rubble. He focused on the vision God had placed in his heart. He gathered the people, not with his own abilities, but with a declaration of God's goodness. The hand of my God has been upon me. He invited them to rise up and build, and a spark of hope was lit. And so, the work began. The moment hope began to rise, opposition appeared. As the stones were being set in place, the sound of rebuilding was met with the sound of ridicule. Two men, Sanballat, Tobiah, began to mock the workers. What are these feeble Jews doing? Will they revive the stones from the heaps of rubbish? If a fox goes up on it, he will break down their stone wall. Their words were sharp, designed to cut deep and make them feel small, foolish, and weak. These verbal attacks were just the beginning. The mockery soon turned into something far more sinister. As the wall grew higher, the gaps began to close, the enemies grew angrier. They saw the work succeeding, and their ridicule had failed. So they conspired together, plotting to march on Jerusalem. They planned to attack the workers, to stop the project with violence. Fear crept in. The strength of the laborers is giving out, and there is so much rubble that we cannot rebuild the wall. This is where many would give up. But Nehemiah's response was immediate and powerful. He did not argue or panic. Instead, he led the people in prayer. Hear us, our God, for we are despised. He placed the problem squarely in God's hands. But his faith was not passive. After he prayed, he acted. Prayer and planning go hand in hand. Do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome. Fight for your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your homes. The enemy's plan was to attack, to create chaos, to stop the work through fear. But something amazing happened. God intervened. Nehemiah writes, "When our enemies heard that their plot was known to us and that God had frustrated it, we all returned to the wall, each to his work. The enemy saw resolve, guards on the walls, swords at their sides, prepared and watchful, trusting God. God exposed their secret plan and disarmed it, formed but not prospering. The wall continued to rise. The builders worked from the first light of dawn until the stars came out. Inspired by Nehemiah's leadership, he established a trumpet signal. If attack came, a trumpeter would sound, and everyone would rush to help. Unity and security, no longer a frightened crowd, a disciplined, watchful army of builders under God's protection. In just 52 days, an impossibly short time, the wall was finished. The gates were hung. The city was secure. The victory wasn't just stone set. It was what the wall represented. a visible testament to the power of God and the faith of his people. Surrounding enemies heard and lost confidence, realizing the work was done with the help of our God. Perhaps as you read this, you see your own life in the rubble of old Jerusalem. Maybe you have broken places, relationships, your career, your health, your spirit. You may hear the taunts of an enemy, the voice of a critic, the whisper of your own self-doubt. Tired and overwhelmed? Nehemiah's story is for you, a warm, steady hand reminding you restoration with God is possible. Your first step is the same as his, prayer. Before you lift a single stone, lift your heart to God. Tell him where it hurts. Show him the broken walls. You don't need fancy words. Just talk to him. Ask for his strength and his wisdom. Trust is the foundation for every other stone. It's the firm ground you need before rebuilding. God hears. He sees. His good hand is upon you. Next, take a small, faithful step. Nehemiah didn't rebuild in a day. It was done one stone at a time. One family at a time. What is one stone you can place today? Make that call. Forgive that person. Get out of bed and read a single verse. Don't be discouraged by the size of the task. Focus on the next right thing. Do your work with a tool in one hand and a weapon, your faith, in the other. Finally, remember the promise: no weapon formed against you will prosper. When fear whispers you will fail, hold up this promise. When discouragement speaks, stand on it. People, circumstances, internal struggles do not have the final word. God does.
Keep building, keep watching, keep praying. If this lifted you, like, comment, and share, and join us here same time tomorrow.